Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Democracy Report. Today is April 8th, 2025, and it looks like maybe a decent day for the stock market. Let me put this over here right now. Yeah, looks like the Dow is up, the Nasdaq's up, S&P's up, gold is up, and oil is up. I'm not sure if we like that. But anyway, looks like things are improving. Now they have gone down a little bit since I looked at it earlier, but things are holding a little bit. We're going to get into more of the kind of, the effect of tariffs and things like that later on in the video or later on in the show. The show. We are live. So let me take care of some house cleaning stuff real quick. Please like and subscribe. You can follow us at Blue Sky at thedailydemreport.bsky.social, and you can support this show and bringing this kind of content to you every day by going to buymeacoffee.com/the Daily Democracy Report. There you can donate whatever you like to the show, and it's greatly appreciated if you do. Helps me to be able to continue to bring you this show on a daily basis throughout the week. So, and with that said, today and all week, Monday through Friday, I plan on doing this show starting at noon Eastern time. And we'll just go as long as I have the content prepared for it. So could be a half hour, could be an hour, could be shorter, maybe longer. Not really sure, but maybe over time start getting more of a routine together here. But at this point, we're going to go from noon, starting at noon, Monday through Friday, Eastern time. So there you go. So for today's show, there's a couple things I want to touch on. I already mentioned tariffs, which we're going to cover in the last segment here. But I also want to talk about the deportations to El Salvador. I think that's a huge issue right now. Supreme Court just made a ruling. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about Gaza a little bit too. Not going to spend too much time on that, but the president did meet with Netanyahu yesterday and had a press conference. I wanted to just talk about a snippet of that. And of course, the tariff stuff. So do want to definitely discuss that. Even though what I showed you already, markets are doing better. I'm not totally convinced that that's going to help the everyday consumer with all these tariffs that are, this tariff war, I guess I should say, that's going on by our, let me just convict in chief, Trump. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so let's get started here. So the deportation to El Salvador prison. So this prison is called a terrorist confinement center in El Salvador. CEDOT, CEDOT, has a capacity for like 40,000 inmates. Now, granted, a lot of these people are really hardened criminals. These are bad people that are there. And Trump made an agreement, or somebody made an agreement with the El Salvador president down there, and they're so we'd be able to ship people there randomly, declaring that they're members of gangs and violent criminals, and we're going to send them all down to this prison. And as it turns out, some of these people aren't really doesn't turn out to be really violent people. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to bring your attention to what is this, the act? Maybe you've heard about this in the press. The Alien Enemies Act of 1798 is what Trump has said that this is the justification for how he's able to do this as far as the law goes. Because a lot of these, well, all of them have had no due process. They've just been kind of snatched up, said that you're a gang member, and shipped you off to this prison in El Salvador without any due process, without any lawyers being involved or anything like that. So we're going to talk about how that kind of works. I guess as far as I can understand how it works. I did some research, but I want to show you guys and gals this is the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. So I'll just kind of paraphrase here, but it allows the president to detain or deport natives and citizens of an enemy nation. Let's remember that, okay? Enemy nation with little, if any, due process. All right, so that's kind of a broad topic there. When invoked by the president, the law states that all native citizens, denizens, and subjects of the hostile nation or government, being males of the age of 14 years and upwards, who shall be within the United States and not actually naturalized, shall be liable to be apprehended, restrained, secured, and removed as alien enemies. So I think the one thing that stands out from that is hostile nation or government. So we'll continue here. Under its terms, the act can be invoked by a presidential proclamation on two bases, right? Basis one, I don't think it covers this whatsoever. Whenever there shall be a declared war between the United States and any foreign nation or government. That hasn't happened, so you can't really make that the basis for this. Basis two, when any invasion or predatory incursion shall be perpetrated, attempted, or threatened against the territory of the United States by any foreign nation or government. And that leaves it a little open, maybe, for interpretation. I am not a a constitutional lawyer. I don't practice law. Never. I can spell law. That's about it. But as I read it, it seems to me that there's really no basis for this. We're not at war. You could argue that we're at war with gangs, we're at war with people that intend to do us harm, that are members of countries, but not necessarily that the government of that country has said, declared war on the United States and sent these people. So I'm not really sure exactly what that means, but let's look at regarding basis two here. Under basis two, the president may invoke the Alien Enemies Act without getting congressional approval based on an attempted, ongoing, or even threatened invasion or predatory incursion by a foreign nation or government. The president has inherent authority to repel these kinds of sudden attacks, an authority that necessarily implies the discretion to decide when an invasion or predatory incursion is underway. So, and then you see this note here. Note that under either basis, the law requires the hostility to be perpetrated by a foreign nation or government. So, under that basis, I'm not sure how the hell he's able to do any of the stuff that he's doing. So, I wanted to kind of highlight that a little bit so you guys understand, like, the act that's been invoked here to be able to do these things. And if you guys don't know what happened, I can try to paraphrase as best I can, but ICE gathered up a bunch of people, 200 and some odd people, said they were members of MS-13, as well as, I forget the name of the other, we'll get to it eventually, but there was another gang as well. And, they're not, these gangs, I just want to say, are bad. They're not good people. I don't dispute that there are gang members in the United States. I don't dispute that any of the people that were deported under this act weren't gang members that caused a lot of harm and killed people and all that. I don't dispute that. What I do dispute that is I think the majority of those people, I think there were 170 some odd people, had never committed an act of violence either in their home country or here in the United States that anybody could find. So that's kind of a problem. So let's see this Trump border czar, Tom Homan. This guy's a piece of work. He is a former acting director of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He was the acting guy for, I think, less than a year and a half. Before that, I think he was a customs agent, kind of worked his way up through that. And the guy kind of seems like, I guess, emotionally detached from just human beings that happen to come across the border, regardless of what their immigration needs are, or whatever. I don't know that for a fact. I don't want to say anything like that. I don't know the man personally, but it's almost what it seems like. But I do wanted to highlight some other thing here about ICE. And there are programs. I don't know if this is happening or not, but I just kind of want to highlight something. Just food for thought, something to put in the back of your heads, maybe about ICE and maybe their abuses. And kind of saying that everybody is like a criminal and a hardened murderer and rapist and everything that comes across the border, kind of making you feel kind of like we're being invaded by a bunch of criminals. So but I wanted to just show you this article from the ACLU. And no matter what you think of the ACLU, maybe you just think they're a bunch of woke people, whatever. It's an article, so I'm gonna show it. But there is a program called 287. Not sure what the G is, but 287 program. And they do use local sheriffs and law enforcement. And there are, apparently some racial abuses with little to no accountability for that. So I'll kind of paraphrase a few of these things here. In 2017, Gerardo Martinez Morales. This is a guy who's driving to the doctor's office when he was pulled over by a sheriff's deputies in Galveston County, Texas. 1 week later, the father of 4 and grandfather of 3 who lived in the U.S. for more than 2 decades was deported to Mexico. The reason given for the traffic stop that caused him to be torn from his family, a broken taillight. His family is all U.S. citizens, by the way, under Immigration Customs Enforcement ICE 287G program. Such travesties are too common, blah, blah, blah. The program was named after a section of the 1996 Immigration and Nationality Act. Allows law enforcement agencies, primarily sheriffs, to carry out certain duties normally reserved for federal ICE agents, such as investigating a person's immigration status and holding people for transfer to ICE detention. The result is that even the most minor of infractions with law enforcement can lead to detention, deportation, separation from their families. Now, part of this, you could say, okay, this is fine. Like ICE needs other people to help out, so they can call to sheriffs and, to help with that kind of thing and, do those kind of investigations for them and then alert ICE when there is an issue. And I would say, under a perfect world, that would probably be okay. But the problem here is that are they really acting in the best interest of everybody? I mean, if somebody's coming over into the country illegally, and they're just, maybe seeking asylum or something of that nature, then they deserve to be heard. That's America, right? They don't need to be sent back because of some racist or preconceived notion about who they are just because they ran the border, right? So in a new research report, they found that dozens of sheriff partners in the 287G program have records of racism, abuse, and violence. Majority of local partners have documented instances of civil rights violations and other abuses. That's not saying everybody's like this, but just, that does happen. President Biden has continued to partner with these sheriffs who entered into agreements with the Trump administration, the first Trump administration, despite promising to end them, even though the partnerships undermine the administration's stated priorities for criminal reform, justice, and immigration rights. So the active 287 agreements nationwide. So this was, I'm not even sure what year this was, but it's a couple years back, 2022. So these are agreements with sheriffs, local law enforcement in different states. So in 2021, there were 152, 2022, 142. So it hasn't really gone down that much, but this is, and I'm not going to dive too deep into this. But I kind of wanted to show this only in the sense of, a lot of these people that are being deported to these countries, or to this prison, I should say, these 200 and some odd people that have been deported to this prison. A lot of them are being deported there because they have like a tattoo or, or, some other kind of mark on their body or a, something odd like that they've never done anything wrong. And they're here, legally in a lot of respects. So I want to talk more about this. I have a video I want to show you that is it kind of nails the point a little bit here. So I'm gonna start this. Where am I starting at? Let's see. Okay, so this reporter's name is Lilia Luciano. And she's talking about these deportations, the El Salvador prison. So let's cue this up. This is actually, this is where these people are going to. Here we go.
Franco Caraballo is a 26-year-old barber who was living with his wife in Dallas. He turned himself in at the southern border more than a year ago and requested asylum, and was detained last month during a routine check-in with ICE. His attorney, Martin Rosenow, showed us DHS documents confirming Caraballo has no criminal history.
So now they're saying, on paper, he's believed to be a gang member.
With no known criminal history.
No criminal history and no explanation.
No explanation whatsoever.
Venezuelan authorities provided information that says there's no evidence Caraballo was in a gang or had any criminal record.
No criminal record anywhere that anybody could find. Now, these are reporters looking to find this stuff. And the government of Venezuela said, we don't have him on our record for anything. Doesn't this kind of this isn't right? So.
Rose now says Caraballo was deported to El Salvador and has not been able to communicate with him.
He had no suspicion, no clue that he could end up in a place like Secot.
We had no idea. Not him, not his wife, not anyone.
Is his family concerned that Secot is worse than Venezuela?
They are concerned that it's worse. I'm concerned that we have no access. Who has custody over our client? Who has jurisdiction? El Salvador? ICE? The U.S. government? We have no idea.
In the DHS deportation document, agents highlight Caraballo's tattoos, but don't explicitly say they are connected to gang activity.
Why did he think that they were going to deport him for the tattoos?
Por el reloj.
Because of a clock.
El reloj tiene la fecha.
Okay, this is really crazy. So listen to this.
De nacimiento de su primera hija.
A clock that marks the time when your daughter was born.
Mm-hmm.
His wife.
So. There you go. A clock depicting the time when his daughter was born. His wife believes that was the reason that he was deported, because of that tattoo. Otherwise, there's no criminal activity to be found. It seemed like he entered the United States legally. He was reporting to ICE for the, routine check-ins or whatever you need to do. And, just snatched up for no real reason other than a tattoo that they couldn't really identify, or that they misidentified or something. So seems like kind of a shit show, doesn't it? So let's move forward in this video a little bit, and let's highlight, some other facts here. Let's go here. By the way, this is from the CBS Evening News report, in case I forgot to say that. So I'm gonna make sure credit where credit's due here. All right, so let's fast forward here and take a look here. Here's the this must be like the entrance to this facility. It's a pretty scary as shit place, man.
¿Tú lo reconociste?
Sí.
You recognized him?
One of the faces in the crowd is Nice's partner, she says.
How did you feel when you saw the prison?
Mucho temor, miedo.
It was terrifying to see the videos.
She's 9 months pregnant, past her due date.
Él no va a estar presente.
He's not going to be there when his child is born.
Her partner is Henry Albornoz. The 29-year-old crossed the southern border more than a year ago. She says he's been working as a mechanic in Texas and was detained in January during a routine check-in with federal agents. According to his attorney, Albornoz has no criminal record here or in Venezuela.
He has never been a gang member.
No, nunca tuvo involucraciones en eso.
He was never involved in any criminal activity.
No, una persona muy trabajadora, muy pendiente de la familia,
He's a
muy
good man,
responsable, primero su hogar
responsible.
ante todas las cosas.
His family first, above all things, hardworking.
The Trump administration says the men deported were all members of a criminal gang called Tren de Aragua, known as TDA. But we reported last week on a similar case where a Venezuelan migrant with no known criminal record.
So, yeah, I'll just kind of stop that one there. Yeah, it's that's two right now, right? There's another one I'm not going to highlight, but there was another video I did come across of an individual who was came into the United States legally, under legal terms anyway, and is a gay man. He's a hairdresser, and he was deported because he had tattoos. I believe that's the guy. He had tattoos on either forearm. The inside of his forearms, it had a crown on it, and underneath one said mom and one said dad or something like that, saying that they're like the king and queen of his life kind of deal. But they misinterpreted that crown to be this symbol of this gang or something. Which is a a complete screw up, I believe. It's unacceptable that could happen without any due process, without anybody even being able to say hey, what's going on here? What did I do wrong? And at least get a lawyer involved and try to figure out what's going on before you send the guy to a prison like what you're seeing here with these people. Yeah. It's a little concerning when your government is doing that kind of randomly. I don't have any tattoos. I guess I'm glad I never got one, maybe, because I could get stopped on the street with a crown tattoo and get sent off to a prison in El Salvador that is scary as shit. Maybe not, because I'm a white guy. Food for thought there. It takes me back to that other article. Anyway. And I guess I was born here, so I guess that has something to do with it. But maybe, who the hell knows? Seems like you can just deport anybody. Let's go a little bit forward here. Not too much farther, but this is that's too far. Hang on. Oh, 43. Here we go. All right, so this is Lilia Luciano, and she's going to talk with his borders czar Tom Homan, or whatever his name is. Anyway, here you go. Let's check out this clip.
We came to the White House to talk to the border czar, Tom Homan, to better understand why the government says that these men are all terrorists.
I've been told by the highest levels of ICE, the men and women of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who built that manifest, who went to each of these files, spent hundreds and hundreds of hours investigating each and every one of these people, that they are in fact, every one of them, a member of TDA.
How do you know they are all members? Have you seen that evidence?
I have not drilled down every file. Again, I'm trusting the men and women who do this for a living.
Is it possible that the administration made a mistake by sending 238 men saying that they are TDA members, assuring that they're all TDA members without us seeing
I'm not
what
aware
the
of any
evidence
mistakes
is?
at all, but I can tell you this, not every gang member has a criminal record.
So that's the justification, right? It's well, we're going to say that they're a member of a gang. We know it. We've had hundreds of hours of research and investigations and everything about with these people, and hundreds of hours of investigations. I'm not sure how they come up with that, but okay, fine. I'll take your word for it. Hundreds of hours of investigations. And you're 100% sure that these 238 people are prisoners, although he hasn't seen the evidence. They haven't shown the evidence. They're just deporting people into this scary shithole because they can. Because of a Alien Enemies Act of 1798 gives the Trump administration just blanket, I'm just going to deport you because I don't like you, because your tattoo looks similar to somebody else's, or that you might have interacted with somebody who might be a gang member, or you just look like a gang member. Hell, I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of random at this point. So let me go to, I have an article I want to bring up here. Okay, so this next article I'm going to show you is about Kilmar. I'm going to screw up his name, and I apologize. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. You might have heard of him. He's a legal resident protected from deportation by a 2019 court order. Lived in the United States since 2011. And he was deported to this shithole Salvadorian prison on March 15th. So he's from Maryland. Has a wife and a child. The United States, has admitted that he was accidentally deported. And so a judge ruled that, hey, you got to return the guy. He was supposed to have been returned yesterday. That would have been April 7th by midnight. And here we go. The Supreme Court stepped in and said, oh, wait a minute, we don't have. So the Supreme Court stepped in because the Trump administration said we're going to appeal that we got to return this guy. There's a picture of him with his kid. That we're going to deport this, or that we want this guy back, and the appeals court was like, through the Trump administration was trying to appeal that ruling, saying, hey, we don't have to get this guy back. It was a clerical error that we sent him there, but in reality, the guy is really a gang member anyway. And I think they said he was like human trafficking or some other shit that they probably made up. And the Supreme Court, United States, stepped in and said, no, we're not gonna, we're gonna just have a stay on this whole thing, and we want you guys to present evidence, of the defense, I guess, has to come in. So what was it? Supreme Court issued an administrative stay Monday afternoon with a request that Abrego Garcia's team file a response by 5 p.m. today. That's Tuesday, April 8th. In meantime, he's just staying down there because apparently the Trump administration says, hey, we have no jurisdiction in El Salvador. Since the guy is there, we can't go get him because he's out of our country. He's out of our hands. We just wash our hands of this guy and, say fuck it, I guess. So the Supreme Court said, yeah, you know what? You guys gotta, let's calm down and let's figure out what's going on here. So hopefully it's expedient that this guy doesn't have to stay there any longer than he possibly does. But he was deported on March 15th in what the administration described as an administrative error. So the U.S. District Judge Paula, I'm going to screw this up, Zinnis of Maryland, issued the return order Friday, calling his deportation unlawful. Attorney General Pam Bondi welcomed the Supreme Court's decision and vowed to continue to protect the executive branch from judicial overreach. Whatever. So minutes after the Supreme Court ruling, Abrego Garcia's attorney filed a response. The United States has never claimed that it is powerless to correct its error, and before today, it did not contend that doing so would cause it any harm. That is because the only one harmed by the current state of affairs is Abrego Garcia. So it doesn't say how long this stay is going to last, but we have every confidence that the Supreme Court is going to resolve this matter as fast as possible. So, yeah, so that is kind of messed up, isn't it? I mean, it's really screwed up that they made a mistake. They know they made a mistake, but they don't want to own up to it, which is really, I don't know. It's odd. Either that or there's a lot of evidence that nobody has seen here yet, which I highly doubt. And I don't have a whole lot of confidence the Supreme Court's going to make a good decision on this case. And I say that because for this next article I want to show you guys, oh, it gets worse. So this article was published yesterday, April 7th. It's on CNN Politics. I guess I didn't give due diligence to the last article was from NBC Politics. So there you go. NBC News. This is from CNN.com. So this one is the Supreme Court allows Trump to enforce Alien Enemies Act for rapid deportations for now. So he's able to keep going, deporting people to this shithole country. And now, just so we're clear, some of these people may actually be bad people. That's cool. Whatever. But we need to determine who the hell's bad, who's not bad, and not just taking this freaking Tom Homan's ICE task force people at their word. I don't, without any court, without any, I mean, they're taking the law into their own hands and just doing whatever the hell they want under this, this act that was from, 1798 for Pete's sake. Anyway, Supreme Court on Monday allowed President Donald Trump to enforce the Alien Enemies Act for now, handing the White House a significant victory that will let immigration officials rely on sweeping wartime authority to rapidly deport alleged gang members. Alleged gang members, right? Not convicted, not you went to a court and they determined you were a gang member, or we caught you dismembering somebody in an alley. No, just alleged gang members. The unsigned decision in the case, one of the most closely watched emergency appeals pending at the Supreme Court, let Trump invoke the 1798 law to speed removals while litigation over the act's use play out in lower courts. The court stressed that going forward, now this is maybe one silver lining here, people who are deported should receive notice that they are subject to the act, this 1798 law, and an opportunity to have their removal reviewed by the federal court where they are being detained. So maybe that's a silver lining. I hope so. The court's 3 liberal judges dissented from the decision, and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a member of the court's conservative wing, partially dissented. So I guess that's okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't like that. I hope you guys don't either. I mean, it's too sweeping of authority to these people to just like randomly deport people. I mean, these are real people's lives here that are being affected, and I won't harp on it too much longer, but I just think it's just freaking horrible. I mean, do things the right way, and make sure that these people are actual criminals, and then get rid of them. But not the way you guys are doing it. It's not good. Not good at all. So let's change gears. I have a video I want to show you. This is on Gaza. And this one involves, the embarrassing person that's our president for some, because, yeah, people voted for him for whatever reason. Let me go to reset this video here. Okay, we'll start here with this video. All right, so this is the convicted felon there that you see on your screen, who happens to be our president. And yeah, unbelievable. Still don't believe it. After 70 some odd days, I still don't believe that. But anyway, here's what he has to say. This was at a White House press conference. This is from MSNBC's feed. He was there with Benjamin Netanyahu, who, in my opinion, should be tried for war crimes and just killing women and children in Gaza. I don't care what you think about, I have no problem with Jewish people or people in Israel. I have a problem with your government and the way they're handling this thing. I think it's terrible. I think it's borderline genocide, if not genocide. It's disgusting. I'm not a fan of Hamas either. I'm not a Hamas person. They're disgusting as well. But I think the Palestinian people deserve a hell of a lot better than what the hell they've gotten. And anyway, I'm not going to spew my, personal thoughts anymore on that. But anyway, here's the press guy. Here's what Trump had to say about Gaza.
For the Times of Israel, the IDF is fighting again in the Gaza Strip. I myself might be called up in a month. Do you think that's the way to pressure Hamas to get to a deal? And do you think blocking humanitarian aid is also an effective pressure tactic?
Well, you know how I feel about the Gaza Strip. I think it's an incredible piece of important real estate, and I think it's something that we would be involved in. But having a peace force like the United States there, controlling and owning the Gaza Strip, would be a good thing. Because right now, all it is for years and years, all I hear about is killing and Hamas and problems. And if you take the people, the Palestinians, and move them around to different countries, and you have plenty of countries that will do that, and you really have a freedom zone. You call it the freedom zone, a free zone, a zone.
So it'll be like the Trump Tower Freedom Zone playground or some shit. Who the hell knows?
Where people aren't going to be killed every day. That's a hell of a place. It's what I call it, a great location that nobody wants to live in, because they really don't. And when they have good living, real living, where Hamas and all of the problems they have, the level of death on the Gaza Strip is just incredible. And I've said it. I don't understand why Israel.
All right, I'm gonna pause it right there for a second. It almost seems like that Trump is setting this up to okay, let's get rid of the Palestinian people. Let's get the Palestinian people out of there. Let's roll in the United States military to secure it. Let's roll in some some construction equipment, and we'll put Trump Tower there. We'll have some beachfront property. It'll be a fun place, and Palestinians can move back then later on. If they want to come back, they can just come back. But the problem is there's probably going to be no housing that they could even afford, even if they wanted to. It's typical Trump shit. I don't know.
Israel never gave it up. Israel owned it. It wasn't this man, so I can say it. He wouldn't have given it up. I know him very well. There's no way. They took oceanfront property and they gave it to people for peace. How did that work out?
They gave oceanfront property to people for peace. Yeah, that's not, I won't get into everything. That's not all that happened, but that's what Trump's going to spew here. That this is great land that we can build on, and everybody will be happy, and the world will be a better place if we just forget about these other people. Just ship them off to other countries. They're wanting to go. They're wanting to go everywhere, other than their home. So, anyway, That's all I'm going to get into. And you could almost spend literally days on Gaza and the Palestinian and Israeli conflict, and both sides, are at battle as we speak, and it's just nuts. So, let's fast forward here to some Trump tariff stuff. So, I have mixed feelings about the whole tariff thing and everything. And let's take another look real quick at the market. So as we've been talking, it's gone down about half of what it was, I think, when we started. I'd have to go back and look at the video, but the Dow's up 1.16% now. Nasdaq's up 0.54, S&P 0.82. So everything's kind of going down a little bit. So we'll see what happens. And based like the next stuff I'm going to talk about here may have something to do with it, with these tariffs and everything. So let me jump to the next video here, and I need to find out where I am starting. Okay. We're gonna start here. This is from NBC News, and they are talking about. Here, I'll put it up on screen here. So they're going to talk about China and their, what they're saying about retaliating. Well, I guess the trade war that's been going on between China and the United States, and Trump says he's going to impose more tariffs on China by tomorrow if China doesn't. I don't know. There's a whole lot to it here. We'll play the clip.
White House yesterday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. President Trump spoke about his new threatened 50% tariff on China. We just played that for viewers a moment ago. Now, stocks in Hong Kong traded slightly higher earlier today. But walk us through these tariffs, how China's responding, what markets have been like there over the past few days.
Savannah, China responded to President Trump's threat of additional tariffs with defiance and its own threat of countermeasures to fight a trade war with the U.S., quote, to the end. China's very...
So let's talk, to the end. So I'm not sure what that means exactly, but it sounds like we're in for a lot of pain here in the United States. So let's keep going.
Clear in saying it's not going to back down from imposing these countermeasures to what officials here call U.S. blackmail. They see negotiation as legitimizing the tariff blitz that has hit manufacturing hubs right across Asia. Here, a spokesperson for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed to me there are no talks at any level between the U.S. and China over trade. He told me, quote, the U.S. lacks a genuine willingness to engage in serious dialogue.
Now that's really interesting that the U.S. is not even willing to engage in dialogue with China over this, which to me is pretty interesting, because I thought that Trump was a great negotiator. Maybe he's just waiting on pain to incur and then come to the bargaining table or something. I don't know what his plan is here. Let's keep going here. I think I got... where are we here? Let's see. Oh, I went way too far here, so hang on, let me try to cue this back up again. 145. Yeah, I definitely wrote those times wrong, so let's keep going on the video.
Before the markets open here today, the government unleashed a series of measures aimed at helping to stabilize the stock market, and we saw it turn higher today. That included share buybacks from...
Okay, so they're just talking about China here and what they've done to kind of curb the pain going through that. But there was a section in here. Let me see. Maybe it was here. Let's start here.
This.
Well, if President Trump goes through with what he has vowed, this additional
This is what I wanted
50%
to
tariffs
show.
on all Chinese goods going into the U.S., that's 104% on anything consumers buy from China. Clothing, shoes, car parts, toys, tech, household stuff. The list goes on and on. Adidas has 82 factories in China. 80% of all toys in the U.S. are made in China. 29% of clothing and footwear. Basically everything you use in daily life. And the deadlines are now piling on. These back and forth tariffs are set to take effect over the next 48 hours. When it will be reflected in the prices you pay, that still isn't clear. It could be weeks, months, even years. Some U.S. companies are coming under pressure to move their entire supply chains, which for a company like Apple could take years. What does seem to be clear, though, Savannah, is that these higher tariffs are not going away for global trade.
Yeah, so scary shit with the tariffs. 104%. I mean, that's gonna be crazy. And then who knows what China's gonna do next? What Trump would do after that? I mean, it could just go crazy. And and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt us. It's gonna hurt the everyday people that are trying to pay for, you know, but clothing their children, or buying yourself clothes or a pair of shoes, or like in the Apple thing, like an iPhone or an iPad or something. I mean, they're already expensive. How much farther can they go as far as prices go? So this is kind of not good. So hopefully things calm down and calmer heads prevail eventually. But I don't see this as a big plus right now for anybody. I want to show. Yeah, it looks like the stock market's like ticking just about the same. So yeah, who knows how it's going to go? But I think that is pretty much all I wanted to say, all I wanted to cover for today. But I do appreciate everybody, nobody currently viewing the feed. That's okay. We're just starting out. I think I got 4 subscribers so far. So if you're watching, please like and subscribe. And yeah, hopefully you got something out of this today. Hopefully I maybe said something that you didn't know. And hopefully you'll tune in again. So tomorrow at noon, we're going to do this all over again. Some new topics. I'll try to come up with something different, but we may be on the same topics for a little bit, which is okay. I think as the more and more we talk about this stuff, the more and more it's important to get it out there and not forget about stuff. So because I think it's important, especially these deportations and things like that. I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do these things, and I think we're doing it wrong right now. As far as stuff going on in the Gaza Strip and the whole conflict there between Israel and Palestine is crazy. It needs to end. And I'm not a guy to speculate on how that stuff ends, but it's something has to be done. The killing needs to stop, and everybody needs to be treated fairly in that whole thing. That's my opinion anyway. Tariffs, we'll keep talking about it because it's going to get crazy. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And hopefully it doesn't affect anything too hard. I mean, everybody's 401ks are taking a huge hit right now, including my own. And doesn't feel good. I'm farther away from retirement as other people are. So those of you that are close to retirement, it's scary shit right now. So, but it looks like the markets are going to improve. Hopefully that continues. But with these tariffs and stuff, I don't know. This might be just a little bit of a correction, and tomorrow we may have a whole bunch of bad news. Who knows? But hopefully things stay in a positive direction as far as the market goes. At least to save some of our wealth that might be dwindling away. So anyway, guys, thank you, guys and gals, folks, I should say. Thanks a lot for watching. Again, please like and subscribe. You can follow us at Blue Sky at thedailydemreport.bsky.social. You can see it at the bottom of the screen, https buymeacoffee.com, the Daily Democracy Report. That definitely helps the channel, helps me stay on here and keep bringing you guys this type of information. Definitely leave some comments in the video. Let me know what you think, whether things need to change, stay the same, improve. Let me know. This is my second day at this, so I'm hoping things will improve as we go. But let me know your thoughts anyway. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.